Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make another spinner. I thought we were done making spinners, but I keep playing with them and come up with new ideas. So this idea that I've come up with this time, we're going to call it a bow tie spinner. Just a little idea what it's going to look like. It's going to start here about 2 inches in the middle, and it's going to go out here to like 4 inches outside. It's going to be about 4.5 inches long, and we're going to have down the sides here, we're going to run some iridescent granite. And then in the center here, we're going to run some colored glass. In the middle here, we're going to run our brass tubing up and down here, just like we've done before, with our piano wire down inside of it. And these are all going to be set on a 60-degree angle. So if you think about that, what we're going to do, we're going to have one running this way, 60 degrees out, we'll have one running this way, 60 degrees out, we'll have one running this way. And the last one will run across here like that. So that ought to give us a really nice effect, and it'll all be staggered by the distance between them. So anyway, to get started, let's get our drawing board here and move some things out of the way. We're going to draw this and make our pattern all at the same time because this is pretty simple. This is going to be for the beginner. So I've got my drawing paper here. It's just got a hinge on it. I'm going to take a piece of manila folder and stick in here. Take and tape it down so it doesn't move on us. Just like that. Now we're going to stick our carbon paper in here. The carbon paper here again, remember, carbon side down so that it'll transfer to our pattern paper. Otherwise it'll transfer to the back side of your drawing paper, and that won't do you a whole lot of good. Okay, we're going to tape this down here also so we can keep the air out of it. There we go. Okay, so we need to find the center section of this piece of paper. It's 8.5 by 11. So we're going to go to 5.5 for half of the 11. And we're going to go to 4.25 here for the 8.5. So we're just going to take and we'll just take and draw us a line right here. This will be our center line. We're going to draw an up line. This will be our up and down line. Right here, we're going to come in here and we're going to measure this at 2 inches. Right there, right here. And we're going to come out, we said we're going to come out 4.5 inches here. So we're going to come out here to 4.5 inches right here. 4.5 right here. Going to take and draw a couple up lines right here. Okay, and then on here, I want to make this about, I'm going to say, maybe 4 inches here. 4 inches high, or across here, I'm sorry, across here 4 inches. So we're going to come here, we're going to make 2 and 2. Right here and right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take from here to here, and we're going to draw our bow tie. Just like that. All right. Now on the ends here, I could leave those square like that, but I'm going to make them rounded. And I'm going to show you a little trick right here. I'm just going to take my ruler. I'm going to come down here like to 3/4 of an inch here. I'm going to come down here to 3/4 of an inch. Take my T-square here and just mark it over here. Come down here and mark it. And then I have this is a lid off of a 3-pound coffee can, and I'm going to take this curved edge right here and I'm going to take and line it up on my 3/4 inch mark right here, right there, and I'm just going to take and come right around here. That'll give you my rounded edges for my ends. Here again, you could make these any shape that you wanted to, and you could do anything you wanted to inside of them. But because this is going to be kind of for a beginner, we're going to make this pretty simple. So that's the area got right here. Now down the sides here, we're going to run this about, we're going to do a ½ inch piece of iridescent. So I'm going to use my little piece of angle aluminum here. It's ½ inch across here, 3/4 across here. And I'm just going to set this in here just like this. And we're going to just take and draw it right here. Just like this. And this will be where we're going to put the iridescent granite. Just like that. And here is where we're going to put the colored glass in here. Now, if you think about it, we're going to use this as a guide to cut our glass. But here, ½ an inch right here, but my glass cutter is going to go up against it. So it's going to add this little leg right here where the cutter wheel is, or the scoring wheel. So keep in mind, it's going to be pushed out here a little bit. And what we'll do is we're going to use what they call pattern scissors. And it's going to cut out a little bit of this right here. And I'll show you how they work. So we go from there. But if you're interested in this, we'll do some real quick numbers for you. So from here to here, it's 4½ inches here to here. From here to here, it's 4 inches. And this little area in here, how about we do it like this? This little area in here is 2 inches. So I'll give you where we're getting these measurements from. So anyway, we're going to number these up real quick. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll go offline now real quick and open this up. Or we'll open it up right now and show you what it looks like. Let's put some directional arrows on it too, just in case, so we'll make all our glass go the right direction. And if you don't have enough glass to do that, then don't really worry about it. But I kind of like to always try to make the all the grain of the glass go the same way. It kind of makes it a little bit nicer looking project when you get it all done. So I'll go ahead and put all the rest of the arrows in here too. So anyway, here's what the pattern's going to look like right here. And we'll take our pattern shears and we'll cut this out so that we'll have room for our lead cane to come in here. So I'll go offline real quick. I'll finish putting the arrows on here. I'll come back and we'll show you how we're going to cut this apart. So we'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. We got our pattern now with our pieces in here. I took and used a felt tip tin to create our lead lines here. So these are pattern scissors right here, and they have a blade that goes in between these two legs here, and they cut out a strip right here, which is this is for the heart of the cane. So that makes your pattern become smaller. So what we'll do is we'll come right here with this. We'll take and cut this right through here. And then we'll take it right here, and we're going to come right here. Then we're going to come back in here, and we're going to cut it right through here. And what this does is this creates the gap so that we'll have room for our lead cane. Otherwise, if you cut the glass to match this pattern, it's going to be too big. So that's why we're using these pattern shears to do that with. You can see the ends of them coming out here. So if you don't have a pair of pattern shears, just go ahead and cut them with a regular pair of scissors, and then just remember to allow a little bit of extra room for your cane to come in here. Get this to come on around. Sometimes the circles are a little bit tricky to cut. And we'll get our last piece here, right here. So here we got our pattern pieces now are going to go in here like this. Just like that. So we're ready to get ready to cut some glass, and we'll cut some lead and so forth. So I'll be back in a second. We'll get this mounted up on our board, and I'll show you how we're going to do that real quick. And we'll get ready to put this together. So this is a real quick project. And like I say, this is for the beginner. We're only going to have, altogether, we're going to only have 6 pieces of glass in the project. We are going to make 7 of these though, and, so that way the circle will start out flat, go all the way around and end up going flat. So we'll be back in a minute, and I'll get this, show you how we're going to mount this down and then how we're going to create the form to make these. All right, we're back. So anyway, I got up my carpenter square now. I have it up against my backstop on my work table here. And I'm going to just take this up line right here, and I'm just going to bring it in here against our square, and I'm going to make it go straight up and down, like right there. And we're going to just take and tape it down. So we'll build right on top of this little pattern right here. So we can push that out of the way. We don't need that now. Tape this down nice and tight so you don't have any air underneath it. Here we go. Okay, now, right here in the middle is where we're going to run our brass tubing. So we want to be sure that that tubing is going straight up and down. So I'll show you a little trick here. We're going to take here's our brass tubing right here. And we've got our piano wire in between it. So we're going to take this right here, and we're going to set it right on our line right here, right in the middle, straight up and down on our line. And then we're going to take some of our push pins, and we're going to push one here, one here. And we can take our square again, and we'll bring it up here and make sure that when it touches it right there is what we want. So I'm going to put one more right there, and then push this away. Come back up here at the top, push down a couple more on the outside edge, and that'll keep it right where we want it. So now we need to make a form for here. And what I've already done to get started here is I took our little form wood here and I cut us an angle to match this tubing right here. And so this piece of form wood is going to go right here on our drawing, right like that. We're going to take our little brads, and we're going to put it right in place here. Make sure it's down where you want it. There you go, right there. Make sure it's straight. You know what, I don't like that because I'm not up all the way to my tubing here. I'm going to take that off. Be sure it's up against the tubing because you want that to be straight up and down there. All right, here we go. We'll try that again. False start. If you get started and it's not quite right, don't just keep going on. Get it corrected right then, because if you don't, the whole project's going to come out kind of messed up. So we don't want to do that. So we'll set this in here like that. Get our form tacked down. Just like that. And these two here are going to go over here, just like this. I'll go offline and put those on there. You don't need to watch me do all of this on camera. And then when we come back, we'll get ready to cut our lead to go in here. And then we'll cut some glass and we'll put that one together. All right, well, we got our form all tacked down to our workboard now. And here again, if you haven't followed any of my other videos, we're building on top of a homosoit board. We're using a metal push pin to hold our job together as we get ready to solder it. So that works out really well. So anyway, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a couple pieces of H-came. This is RH9. RH8 will also work. RH9 has a high heart, which means it has a little bit more of a gap in between the channel here. And each one of these are going to go on each side of our brass tubing here, just like that. And then, if you think it's going to get away from you, just put a couple pins in it, just like that. Then we've cut this U-came now. This is RU70. This is the one we've been using on all the jobs. All these jobs on all of my videos are these two cames. They're the RU70 and the RH9. So if you get confused, just refer back to any of the other videos. They're all using the same product right here. So this is going to sit in here like this, and it's just going to butt in here like that. And we'll just take and we'll pin it here. This one here is just going to go right here like this. It's cut on just a little bit of an angle right here so it lines up nice. Stick it in here. And we'll get it stuck in here. All right. So that's how it's going to lead up right there. We're going to go ahead and we'll have a piece of U-came that goes around the outside edge here. So I'll go offline real quick and cut the glass for this. And when I come back in, we'll put it all together. I'm not going to cut any glass online. Most everybody who's watched my videos have watched us cut glass. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube showing people how to cut glass. And you may have a way that you like to do it yourself. So we won't go to take the time to show you the cutting of the glass. So when we come back, we'll have all the glass ready to go and we'll put the rest of this together. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back. We got our glass all cut up now. So to put this together, we're just going to take our first piece of side glass here and we're going to insert it into the channels. Set it in here. Now we're going to take our H-came, cut it on a little bit of an angle right here, and it's going to come down. It's going to butt into the H-came right here. And then it's been cut back here for our U-came to go around the outside edge. We'll take this one here and insert it here. Just like that. Here again, this has been cut on an angle to match up with the straight edge here. It's helpful if you put it in the right side though. There we go. And now our centerpiece just slides down into the channel. Take out that pin. Push it in here right to the edge just like that. Now these areas right here, we're going to use U-came on. Remember we drew this line with our coffee can. So we're going to just take our U-came here with our channel facing in, and we're just going to set it right here on our lid right here. And we're just going to bend that around to match it right there, just like that. And then we're going to take it on the back side and we're going to cut an angle on it. And the angle is going to fit in here like this. Bring this around, just like that. Take and mark this, and we're going to probably mark it just a little bit long to start with, and we'll trim it to fit. So here again, it's going to be on the back side. We're going to cut our angle, set it in here. Okay, that's getting close right there. So down a 1/16 of an inch, we're going to trim off right here. Oops, that wasn't a very good job. There we go. Let it slide in just like that. Take your push pins, push it down tight. Check all your lead, make sure it's nice and tight. Then we'll come over on this side, we're going to do the same thing. Set that one in there. Pull that over. Here again, slide this one in. Just like that. Take your colored glass. Now in this center here, you can do anything you want to in here. I just happen to make it real simple because I'm going to make this for the beginner. So we want to kind of keep it real simple. Make sure it's pushed in tight. Make sure your came's all nice and tight. Check your corners here. That looks good. Here's our other piece of U-came that's been bent. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to cut it on an angle on the back side. Set it in here. Okay, it just needs to be trimmed just a little bit here. After you play with this for a while, you kind of get a feel for how much to take off. See, it's getting really close right here now. So we're just going to take just a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch is all. Check and make sure it's not have a bubble here in the back. That looks good. If you need to, you can take a little piece of your form wood and just take and push that down nice and tight. Just like that. And we'll take and pin that too. Okay, so that's all there is to our bow tie. Like I say, this is a beginner project. So we're going to make 6 more of these just like this. And they're going to do the same thing. We're going to run the brass tubing through the double H came right here. And we're trim these edges up like we've done on all the other projects, and we'll fill them in. And we'll take and dress them up on a 80 grit sandpaper. I'll show you the finished product when we come back. And from there, I'll go ahead and go offline. I'll make all the rest of them. And when I come back, we'll get ready to put them together. So this is a pretty quick project. So we'll be back in a little while. All right, I said I'd be coming back and we'll put this together. I thought I'd go ahead and solder this up real quick. Most everybody that's watched my channel have seen us solder before, but if you're brand new to the channel and you're not familiar with it, we'll just do this one really quick. We'll just do this one side. So I'm going to take a little stainless steel brush right here. And I'm going to take and shine up all the solder joint areas, just like that. Then I'm going to take and flux them up. I'm using a classic 100 gel flux. It's water soluble. It doesn't smoke and it doesn't smell, so it works out quite nice. So just take and flux up the whole area. The solder I'm using is a 6040 solder. And here again, I'm using the Waller 100 soldering iron. Is 100 watt and it has a 700 degree tip, which is just about right for this lead. So I'm just going to take and tin it just a little bit. And I'm going to start anywhere. I'll start right here and just hold it down here. And just take and solder this down. I usually try to take off just a little over a 1/16 of an inch bead on the bottom of the solder, which gives me a nice little bead. So just go ahead and solder these up. Be careful when you're soldering around your brass tubing area here, because we're going to take that out to put this all together. And so if you get too rambunctious and solder it in solid, you're going to have problems getting it out. So be sure not to solder that too tight there. All right, there we go. So we'll just take these all out now, and I'll take it out and turn it over. We don't have to do that online, but I just wanted to show you real quick the soldering technique to put this together. Because if you are brand new to my channel, maybe you're not familiar with the soldering. So that's how that's going to all go together. So as I said before, when we come back, I'll show you how we're going to put this all together, and it should be done. So we'll see you in a minute. All right, well, you're back. As you can see, we got all 7 of our bow ties done now. So I took this on the 80 grit sandpaper, and I took and cleaned up all the edges here, so they look really nice. So anyway, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put them onto our brass tubing. So I've kind of got them laid out kind of how I want them to do. So I'm going to push them to the side here, and we're going to bring in our drill vise. And as you can see here, I have a piece of brass tubing right here. Hopefully this is going to work here. I have a piece of brass tubing right here, and we're going to slide these down onto here, and then we're going to solder them to the brass tubing. So we're going to start with this one right here. Take it in here. Take it here, and we're going to just take and push it down. We're going to set it right here at 90 degrees, right like that. And right in here, this is the area we're going to solder, right this area right here. All right, I got my wife to come out and give us a hand here. I took a look at that little clip we shot earlier. It's a little difficult to see. So this is the area right here we're going to solder. So we're going to just take our flux, and we're going to take and flux it around the brass tubing right here. And then we're going to take our soldering iron, and we're just going to take and we're going to tin it right here. Get it to 10 here real quick. There we go. And I'm just going to set it in here right against the brass tubing and just let it flow off, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. Take and put it right against the brass tubing and just let it flow off. There you go. And now what that does is that's locked this one to the brass tubing. Now the next one is going to go on. Let me slide it down on here. It's going to come down here on this. And it's going to be sitting here, and it's going to be at a 60-degree angle. Get the angle just right here. That's not what I want. It's going to be like this. 60 degrees. And now we'll solder this one right here. So we're just taking flux it up a little bit. Check it again, make sure it's where you want it, 60 degrees. That looks good. Here again, take your soldering iron, tin it, and just set it right against your brass tube and let it go down until it just flows away, just like that. Then we come over this side and do it. good. This one here has got a little mess up there. I just take it off right there like that. And then we're going to go ahead and then we'll put the next one on. And the next one goes on. Just take and slide it down. And it's going to go here again now. We're going to come and we're going to do another 60 degree. Get it right here. It's going to be at 60 degrees right here. That looks good. I'm going to take and flux it up. Let me check it again so I make sure I get it where I want it. That's good. Take my iron, just tin it a little bit, put it right against my brass tube. Let it go right down into it. Do the other side right. If you just hold it on there for just a few seconds, it'll flow away from the soldering iron and it'll flow right around the brass tubing. All right, so I'm not going to hold you up. I'll do the rest of these, but that's how we're going to do all of them. And then when I come back, I'll show you the finished product, and they'll all be soldered to this brass tube here. So thank you, wife.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. All right, well, we're back. We got it all cleaned up now, so it came out really nice. After I soldered the bow ties to the brass tubing, I came in here and I soldered them where they come together, where they kissed each other. That'll give it some extra strength. So you can see how nice it came out. So I'm really happy with that. Here's how it looks when it's on point here. So you can see that these are all lined up. So you got this two sets together, these two sets over here are together, and then you've got the three here. That's why we made 7 of them. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to put some black patine on it, or patina, however you want to say it. Basically, we're going to turn the lead black. And so I just wanted to show you this before we did that. And I'll go offline and do that. We're just going to put on a pair of gloves and we're going to brush this on, let it set for a while. Then we'll wash it off. So there's a lot of shows on YouTube showing how to do this. I've got a couple. So anyway, we'll be back when we get it all put together on the shaft. We're going to make a shaft with a loop in it with a swivel on it. We'll make one long enough here to let this hang by, and we'll put it all together at the end of the video. So we'll be back in a little while. All right, well, we're back. We got it all cleaned up now, and we put the patina on it. So it came out really nice. I also put on a new wax that I found. This is actually it's used for polishing cast iron stoves, and it's called black stove polish. It comes in a bottle, looks like this. I'm going to do a real quick video on how to use it, and I'm going to take one of our bullseye spinners apart, and we're going to take and go over the patina with it and show you how it looks, so you can see how shiny it makes everything look. So the last thing we have to do here is we have to put in our music wire with our swivel and our split ring on it, and we'll button it all up. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take one of our little set collars and we're going to insert it on our shaft. Then we're going to come down to the end here, insert it in our brass tubing. We just go, whoops, get it inserted here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this down here just a little bit. So down at the end here, we're going to put on another little set collar. Then we're going to put on our little decorative ball here. And then right here at the very bottom, we're going to put this we're going to put another set collar here. This is just a kind of an insurance to be sure that there's no way that this could ever slide off the end of this shaft. So we'll take and tighten up the set screw. I'm going to use the short side of this Allen wrench here so I can really torque this down. This slides over there, and then this comes down against it nice and tight. We'll take and tighten that up. You don't have to put anything on the bottom here if you don't want to. I just like to put this on here because it kind of hides the set collar on the inside there. So there's that. Then we'll come back up to the top. Put our last set collar on here. Kind of like to line up the set screws. Not super important, but it just looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to take and tighten this one up here. I'm going to set this with just a little bit of end play in it. What I mean by that, I'm going to put the set collar all the way up against it. I'm going to bring it back just a little bit so that you can see here that the hanger has a little bit of movement to it. And we're going to tighten that down. So I hope everybody's been following along on this one. This has been a fun one to make, and like I say, this is for the beginner. You can make these little guys any shape that you really want to do. I just kind of made them this bow tie look, and like I said, you can do anything you wanted to in the glass itself. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take it outside on the patio, and we'll hang it up, take a few pictures of it, and then we'll go ahead and we're going to post the video. So hopefully you've been following along and enjoyed it. Like I said, it's primarily for the beginner. It's pretty simple to do. As you notice, the brass tubing runs the whole distance of this one, unlike some of the other ones where we cut the brass tubing off. I wanted to do that to give it some more strength because as they get bigger, they can get kind of wiggly. So we don't want it to be. We want this to be able to hold up in the wind. So we'll be back in a minute. We'll go outside and get it hung up, and then we'll get our pictures of it, and we'll go ahead and post it. All right, well, here's our bow tie spinner all finished up. So have it out in the patio now. We hung it up. I do have it on a mechanical spinner right now, so you can take a look and see how it looks. So hopefully you followed along on this and enjoyed the video. And please subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.